What's up guys, it's your boy Shaka here. Let me ask you a question. Have you guys ever had this happen to you? Yeah, exactly. Yo, I'm in that area that we were in last raid where we had that guy come up to us with the shotgun. Yeah, over there, but like kind of to the left more, like you know where the orange like building is? Yeah, it's right there. It's like dude, these descriptions are killing me, bro. Guys, it is time to start standardizing callouts for maps and also understanding the maps. Map knowledge is huge. You want to understand exactly where your enemies are, where your friends are. Let's get into it. First up in this series is Spaceport. I like this map to start off with because it's got 5 different stashes, a lot of places for you to go quickly grab loot, get out, or for some of the most amazing PvP fighting that you can experience in this game. So once these callouts start getting standardized, you can bring in your homies and you know exactly what you guys are doing and where you are. The link is going to be in the description below so you can download this map and share it with your friends, understand the callouts, and start reaping the rewards. Docking your ship is completely randomized, so understanding where your airlock is and where in relation to that other people are and where the stashes are is very important. Let's get into it. One of the main things I like to teach people in my Twitch streams is you always want to manage the clock. The earliest anybody's ever going to get into a raid is 23 minutes and 30 seconds, so realistically I'm about a minute behind anybody that can get in there the fastest they could. That's not to say that anybody is actually in here waiting for me, but it's just always good to know what the general timing is going to be for other people. Okay, so I can already tell that I've spawned at storage airlock, and that gives me a lot of good information to start my raid. Unless someone has dead sprinted over from cargo, the only airlock I have to worry about is meat. And after meat, that gives me a straight shot towards the high tier loot, which is over by bar. Okay, so after checking out storage rails, which is named after the inner track area where there are rails that loop from one end of the map to the other from right to left, I was going to set my sights on meat airlock. Coming through storage, there are no boxes or anything to loot, as well as no AI to have to worry about. So you can come through here without any problems, other than considering that there might be marauders at this airlock. Okay, so we've made it safely to meat airlock. Now if you have the captain's keycard, go to the airlock and give it a hit, and boom, in the top right you've got more information. There's no ships here. So at this point I'm feeling pretty safe. There's no marauders around, there's definitely no AI in this area, so you can start making your way over to bar. This is also one of your contract objectives at Meat Shop. But let me know in the comments section below if you guys think that there should be something changed or improved. I'd love to hear it. Some of the standardized callouts are pretty straightforward. This area back here in the office has really good loot. I would definitely suggest coming back here if you're scavenging. But because I'm relatively loaded up already, we're heading to the highest tier loot possible. Yeah, that's right. It's the bar, baby. Can't forget about this connector that leads us to Market. It's the only place that has water on the ground and you can hear people in there, so I called it wet. Yep, really original. Alright Shaka, get back on task. Let's go in there. We're trying to make it to the bar.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Alright, so we made it to the Burr. We're finally in the high tier location, but we want to make sure we've got everything sorted for callouts. Heading into admin, this is also another contract area. Hit up this table for 8 seconds and you've got yourself a contract completed. Ooh, some war bonds. We got ourselves a double header here. There's a lot of stuff in this area, so we're just going to take it slow. Locker has some really good loot, and I would say medbay is probably going to give you some heals. When I'm on a scavenger run and I've already got myself a backpack, this is one of the first places I go because having heals in a fight is really important. You always want to keep yourself nice and healthy. And just so happens that this place has got the highest tier heals you can find. Always come here if you've got the chance before a fight. And as you've already seen, I only had one AI to shoot. There's a relatively easy way to get to the high tier stuff without having to go through the middle market area and having to fight a bunch of people that are also going that exact same way. There are other ways to get to the high tier stuff without having to engage with AI and marauders. Another component of this map that you can easily get to without engaging anybody is going to the secret stashes. You could come in relatively naked, run to a secret stash, and then get a huge come up right away without seeing a single person. X marks the spot, baby. Always checking the bodies that have spawned in as well as a huge come up. You can usually find tokens in there for the depot rooms, as well as lockpicks and heals, among other things obviously. And hey, memorizing the location of the ammo boxes is also a big come up. You can always find some 7.62, 5.56, or 300 Magnum ammo, which is definitely the high tier ammo of this game. Now this secret stash didn't give me too much, but there's still 4 others to check, so let's keep looking. And hey guys, don't forget to throw down a like and a subscribe, and definitely comment below on what you guys think about this. I'd love to hear back any changes or improvements that need to be made, as well as I have a Twitch. If you guys could throw down on a follow there too, that would help me get to my affiliate status and then just improve my streams even more and more. Thanks so much guys, I really appreciate all the support. Okay guys, so at this point we've looped from one side of the map completely to the other side going through bar, making our way to Orange Airlock. Again, avoiding a lot of the AI in these areas in the central parts of the map. And again here I'm checking Orange Airlock to see that anybody has docked, and it looks like I'm alone. Oh hey. Okay, we're making our way to Upper Orange now, and going into the upper components of the map that has been drawn. And hey, if there's a brave soul out there that wants to help me try and draw some of these maps, I would really appreciate the help. Thanks. Maybe this is actually upper boiler. This is one I've been having a little bit of trouble with, understanding if I want to call it left frigate or start associating it with what's below, which would be port. So port peak. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section below. Huge shout out to these barrels right here. I have a lot of fun peeking people and using it for cover in very effective ways. This not being one of them. This would be upper port, leading down to the port master area. Heading over to boiler stairs. Sorry guys, this isn't the most exciting or comical video that I could be posting, but I think it's pretty necessary. I think having callouts and understanding map knowledge is ginormous. It's huge. It's massive. It's game breaking. Alright, heading down to depot stairs. We've got another secret stash spot. And if you've been diligently checking all the bodies on this map, you can find yourself a depot token and bust that bad boy wide open. There's an ammo box in here that you can loot, and there's also a peak right above that you can actually shoot through. So that's why I was thinking of calling it Port Peak, or Pete Pork. Peter Porker, Porper, Peak to Piping Pepper. Okay, I'm done. These triangular locations on either side of the frigate on the top floor are great for getting into fights with teams, but I wouldn't suggest coming around here for loot. You're gonna get shot pretty quick. And if you're one of the nakeds, you should probably head downstairs into the basement areas to try to find loot in the secret stashes. Alright, so I'm heading over to Square. This is just before we get to Market. This is a high fight location. Lots of people like to come here. There's a lot of different peaks you can get. This is Square right here, and inside there, that's Market. Another crappy loot and high risk location is this closet right here. Too many times have I seen my brothers in this closet ready to die.
Mr. Cruz? Mr. Cruz, come out of the closet. No!
And just like on the other side, Shelves Peak, you can definitely shoot through that crack down below. The triangle's kind of a explanation. Making our way to Cargo Airlock. Once you get yourself acquainted with what it looks like when that airlock opens, you can situate yourself on that map and act accordingly. Another one of your raid objectives can be found in here. Be sure to use these railings to your advantage. Either side of them, you can use them as a little bit of cover, as well as get an advantage and a drop on other players or AI. Another high tier loot location is right by 2 airlocks on either side of Frigate, but a word of caution, this secret stash is one that's highly frequented, and you have very little cover here from a lot of different angles, so be very careful to come here. If you are going to hit this place, do it quickly and do it first. Rounding off all the peripheral secret stashes, we're going to head from under Frigate to Shelf Stairs, to shelves, to another stash under cargo. This is a tricky stash to find. Just look for that little open cardboard box and you should be able to find it no problem. Understanding the maps and standardized callouts is super important for your team play, especially on Spaceport. Spaceport has a lot of intricate areas, a lot of different layers, so understanding exactly where you're at, where your objectives are, and where your enemies are spawning is really important for your gameplay. And we finally made it to our last secret stash, in box, right by pods, underneath market. And hey guys, I'm not the leading expert on this. There's rails everywhere, so trying to call a certain area rails might not really be very effective. So if you guys want to add to this, feel free to drop something in the comments below, add to the map, drop me a line on my Twitch, my Discord channel, whatever you guys think. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. In the map, I've also added the yellow boxes, which gives you high craftable loot. You just need a lockpick to open it up. There's one under Frigate, and one over by Orange. Alright, and now we've come full circle. We're heading back to rails, towards cargo, right by storage, which is where I spawned in. But we're still going to do a little bit of a trip upstairs, check out the area here, which I've actually never really looked at before. There's a good place to look into wet office, and then heading back towards closet and square. Good places to be peeking Frigate from up here, as well as this area you can still see, but you can't shoot through it. Alright, now that we've gone through a map walkthrough, I want to do a couple of quick speed runs to show you guys how quickly you can grab enough loot and get out before even being found, or only finding one group of Marauders. In this next clip, I find myself in a very early raid situation at 23 minutes and 40 seconds. With very little heals and low tier armor, I need to get myself into a situation to have a serious come up. Okay, so I find myself in Meat Shop Airlock. There might be people spawning to my left, but I'm in early enough that I don't have to worry about that. I'm beelining it to the high tier loot. My plan was to head to Customs Office to try and find some high tier loot in that location. You don't have to worry too much about AI in this area, so shooting your gun and tipping off other people to your location is not going to be a problem. However, coming into bar, you're almost always going to have AI, and in this case we have ourselves commandos that have spawned on the compound. This is going to raise the risk level, but also you have the opportunity to find an STG, some heavy armor, and some better guns for sure. And lo and behold, we find ourselves with an STG wielding maniac. We got ourselves all the good loot, but we didn't have to worry about a single Marauder, just because we knew exactly where we spawned and how much time we had on the map. Making our way from bar through AC to the secret stash, I'm ready to grab as much loot as I can as quickly as possible. I'm feeling pretty brazen at this point, so I'm going to head to Medbay and try to find some high tier heals before heading out. Over catwalk towards admin, down the stairs, and back to Meat Shop. Here we go. Skirt! Wait a minute, in all my greedy looting, I think I can hear some Marauders. Yeah, they spawned behind me. Time to rotate behind shop and get a better angle. Hold up, I think I can hear somebody just outside of books. Okay, that's one Marauder down, time to heal. That's great, that's a 3-man dead. We got ourselves an even bigger come up than before. Let's see what they got. Amazing. And that's all it takes. Just getting in there early, finding a little bit of loot, a little bit of luck, and you can take out a 3-man and grab all their stuff. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate all the support. If you guys like this content, don't forget to subscribe, like, throw me a little comment down in the section below. I think the next one we're probably going to be doing is Navy Outpost. That map is extremely difficult, so it's probably going to take me a little bit more time than this one to try to get things sorted out and understand the callouts. But if you guys want to help me out with this process, please, by all means, I'm on my knees. Help me. All right, guys, thanks so much. And as always, ciao for now. Don't forget that the map is posted in the description below, so check out that link. Cheers.